All right, so now that we have our sound in and we're all ready, I just want to show you one real quick thing. And what that is that we've got our sound in Audacity, but I highly encourage you. Basically, you should write out what it is. Now, remember, this isn't going to be a super long video, so you shouldn't have to do a whole lot. This will also help you if you're doing your storyboards of what words are going to be in different sections and then starting to visualize how you want them to come together. So I'm not going to do the entire thing because essentially from your last few videos and last week, you guys have already know a lot more than you think. So I'm going to show you some different techniques, and what we're going to be doing is nesting compositions. So nesting compositions basically means we're going to make different compositions, different movies of text and different things and shapes, and bring them together. And I'm just going to get you started on it, and then I want you to kind of go see how far you can go with it. You don't have to be super elaborate, but the things you do want to think about is emphasizing the scale and what font and which words you want to stand out. So, case in point is if I listen to my the first line from his speech, it starts off with a much lower tone.
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it.
So basically, what's happening is he starts off slower and then he starts getting more intense as he's talking to his son. So we want to emphasize that, which means that the first word should not be huge. But I first need a composition to start it off. So I'm going to click here. And we'll call this one shot one. HDV, HDTV 720 29.97, which is 1280 by 720, everything else. And I'm making the background black. And now we've got it. So now I want to create some text. I'm going to use the text that I wrote up, and here's where I decide, do I want these to be separate words? Or do I want them to come in as a sentence? How do I want to animate them? So I'm going to start off simple, and then we'll try a few more advanced things a little bit afterwards. So the way I want to do this is get all my words that are ultimately going to be together, and then I can have them animate, fading in, flying in, doing whatever I want. The first one, I'm going to make it simple. So what we're going to do is just click in our view, Control T. There's my text tool. And if I want to pop up in the center, I just double click on the text tool, and then it makes the layer, and there it is. So if I say let, there it is here, and I'm going to select all. But I want to change a few things or make sure it's set up right. So if I look at paragraph, and remember, if you can't see it here, you can always turn it on through here. Anything that's missing, alignment tools, um, your character tools, if I want to show those, all that stuff. So, you know what? Right now, let's just keep it as is. Right now, it is align left, which is fine. I'm just going to pick a simple character for right now. I tell you what, let's just keep this super simple to begin with, and then we'll start going into nut stuff. So, I got this guy here. Now I'm going to click on my layer and I'm going to duplicate it. Control D, double click on it, type in me, click on it, Control D, double click, tell, click, Control D, U, oops, there we go, Control D, something, oops, chinkies, something, Control D, you already, Control D, no, period. Let me tell you something. Oops, I can hide the transparency there. So let me tell you something you already know. It has a 2 here because I have two layers named you because that's the text on them. So now I just want to take these guys and I want to move them to where, whoops, they're supposed to be. Let, oh, Chinkies, let's zoom in a little bit. That's better. Me tell you something ready. No, whoops. Anytime you grab those red boxes, that is something that will make it scale or do weird stuff. So just be careful of that. Alrighty. And what I also want to do is turn on my title safe action so I can get a good bearing on where all this stuff should be. And remember, this is his opening statement. It's a little quieter. The screen would be, let's just go to fit, about this big. And remember, I can also just press P to position some of these so that I can start to tighten things up a little. And now if you look and it's like, hey, wait, this is off. There's a few things I could do. I could go through alignment. Depending on how it's set up, sometimes that works great. Sometimes it doesn't. I'm looking at this. Let's go to full resolution so it'll be a little cleaner. And if I grab all three of these, you'll notice it's a little bit off. And most of that is simply because, let's see, let's do right there. So these guys are alignment. This guy isn't. And that's mostly because it has no lower hanging case letters. So I'm just going to line that up there. And if I'm ever wondering, I can hit Control or Command R to pull up a guide and just drop it down. And then you can see, oh, I can just snap these right to that guide. Grab the guide up here. Is that all good? And it will snap to the guides, which is nice. Then I'm done with the guide. I just pull it off. So that looks cool. Maybe move this guy just a hair over. And of course, if I grab all of these, I can always distribute them equidistantly as well. So you can see based off of, you know, how they're actually lined up and stuff. But I'm just going to eyeball this. Oops, not you. You.